All right, so I have read Sunrise on the Reaping. Full disclosure, I am not the biggest fan of the Hunger Games. I enjoy it. It just was never something I got into. I read the first book, saw 3 of the 4 movies, watched the Lost in Adaptation review with Dominic Noble of the final movie, and watched the movie for the one with Lucy Gray in it. But it's never been something I really got into. I adore this book so very much. Did I pick it up? Because it's purple. Yes. Also because I really, really wanted a look into the propaganda of the series, and that was going to be the focus of this. How the Hunger Games are used as a propaganda for Panem, for the capital, to control the districts, for fear, for control. Why haven't they rebelled when they outnumber them so, the districts outnumber the capital so severely? Is it just because of the fear, because of the guns, because of the weapons? Why haven't they rebelled yet? And the propaganda of how things are presented in the games to the other districts. Is that the truth? Answer, clearly no. They are manipulating events, manipulating the narratives to keep their control, and that is all explored in this book, as well as so many other things that I cannot spoil, but that have been a theory that I've heard floating around in the past. And I'm so happy. I adore this. Hamish's games were phenomenal. He is a fantastic character to follow. He's doing things in the series that I had no idea about from the first book or the movies. I love how much of a tragedy this is. We know the outcome. We know there's only going to be one winner. We know who that winner is. And you still fall in love with all of these characters, some of the villains included. I think my only complaint is there's a little bit too much fan service in the terms of character cameos. Like, this might have been put in there just as a reference to the main series, and I feel it could have stood just as fine on its own with mostly, or if not entirely, completely new characters. I think there's just one cameo too many. But fast-paced themes involving propaganda, wonderful characters, wonderful backstories, the cutest romance I've read in a while with Hamish and his girl. I have, like, next to no complaints. Love this from start to finish, and I don't think there's much more I can say in spoiler-free, so on to past Jessica, who is reading the book and falling in love from the beginning. All right, first check-in. So I read the first, 25 pages-ish at work, and my blood is already boiling. I didn't know I could be this angry with a book and the plot that's happening so quickly, so very good start. Little things first. So Hamish just got his birthday present from Lenore Dove, and it starts off like, hey, Dove, the color warm gray, but he says, he gets the present, and she digs in her pocket and holds out a small package wrapped in a scrap of dove-colored fabric, tied with a ribbon the same dappled green as her eyes. Little things like her name being Dove, and he now knows that's warm gray in color as well as the bird. And this paper reminds him of her. The green of the ribbon matches her eyes. I guess the relating back to the girl he's in love with and just so casually thinking about her and everything reminds him of her just seals to me like he is really in love with this girl. So I really like that. It's just a small little touch that I'm a sucker for it every single time. But then, how dare you? Because we're at the reaping and his name is not called. It's like, this the prequel. I know he's going through this. I don't know if it was ever told in the original series, because I didn't read all of them. But the guy whose name was picked takes off running. He gets shot, and they're like, we need someone else. We need to refilm. And I love that. The propaganda, everyone's thinking this is live, but really they're a couple minutes ahead, so they have time to refilm it. So she recalls the first guy's name, pulls out a new paper, and says Hamish, not because he was picked, he was chosen because he went to protect Dove from one of the peacekeepers, got caught in the commotions, you know what? You're going to have to be the replacement. We're going to use you instead. He was handpicked. His name was not drawn. And I love that because, the odds always be in your favor. And not only are the odds never in your favor, but he wasn't even drawn the way it's said to have supposed to have been. And I just love that little detail. And I don't know if it's in the main series or not. But yeah, then going into about how his parents reacted and the reaction shots that the Capitol sees in the videos were all predetermined. The camera guy made his parents or his mother and brother perform over and over and over again to get the right reaction in exchange for them being allowed to say goodbye to their child. But then, or mother say goodbye to her son, brother to brother. And the mother just like, even though I had to basically sell myself out and have the Capitol use my reaction, my grief for this propaganda, you don't have to. Don't let them use your tears for their schemes, essentially. And I already love it. Honestly, I was picked up this book hoping to show examples of the propaganda, of the manipulation of the Capitol. That's definitely what we're getting already. We also have an explanation for the name here, Sunrise on the Reaping. It's his birthday during the reaping, and Lenore, I think that's her, Dove, is just because the sun rose yesterday and the day before and day before doesn't mean it's going to rise tomorrow, and just because it's your birthday doesn't mean a reaping will always occur. So, like, don't believe that a sunrise will always occur on the reaping. It's cute. It's very cute. So, we shall see. Alright, so, the other girl who is in the group, Maisley, I like her. She is this, appeared to be spoiled, rotten girl, twin sister. Didn't think she would be very assertive, was my initial thought. I was wrong. She's telling off the one who draws the names out of the hat from the beginning, calling her old, no style, got full-on smacked with like a riding crop, welts everywhere for it, but she's not taking anyone's bullshit whatsoever. And when like people try to embarrass the other tribute, the girl who is a little bit more timid, younger, like she's looking at this bounty of food that they've never been able to afford meat before, and the Capitol people are like being mocking about it-ish, and then Maisley comes in and is just like, what, you expect her to eat with her hands? Of course she's doesn't know what to do with this. Get her some damn napkins at least, or plates. What's wrong with you animals? And I love it. And but then the other tribute who Hamish was bent on protecting because childhood friend and old sweetheart, and they're just good friends to each other. Yet she dies in the chariot presentation, and it's horrible. I want to say it's worse than the fact that their stylist uses live snakes as earrings, and he says they'll be dead by the end of the day, and I'm like, I like snakes, but I should care more about the human life, and it really affects Hamish. He carried her body to snow and presented it in front of him, making a statement. So we're standing out. This is a good introduction to the story. Oh, I literally just turned off camera. I forgot to say. Mags, I'm so happy. I'm assuming it's the same one. I could be wrong. I know nothing about the Hunger Games. I know very little, okay? Mediocre knowledge of the Hunger Games. But we met the mentors, and I'm like, District 12 doesn't have any living mentors, because we got some Lucy Gray mentions, which is wonderful. But Megs and another girl are their mentors, and this is the one who couldn't speak in the second movie, I think, and sacrificed herself for the other one. So I'm assuming that's who this is, and I'm very excited because Hamish said in that movie, and I'm assuming book, like, she's a very sweet lady, hope she goes peacefully. So if she was responsible for keeping him alive, I love that addition. This could be a completely different character for all I know. But I also like that they said the other Victor survived by following a light beam or sunbeam or some kind of beam. I followed the light beams. And to the best of my knowledge, Hamish survives by using a force field, recognizing the force field is there, like bouncing it, and coming attack off it to kill the last remaining tribute is kind of what I remember from my minimal knowledge of the Hunger Games. So I guess she could have told him something about it, giving him that hint, understanding the force field. They also talk about how there were probably clues in the training grounds for what the twist of the arena is. So I am just starting them getting to their training, and I guess I gotta pay close attention to what details are there. Alright, so there's a kid, and he's a sweet kid. I think his name is pronounced Ampert. And my brain looks at it and all I see is armpits. And I'm like, that's so rude because he's a sweet, sweet little kid. And his father is here being punished. He is definitely the one from the second movie that pulled from all the victors and electrocuted everyone in his original game, and makes the alliance with them in the future. And he talked about how he's being punished for messing with communication systems, and his punishment is his son was reaped, so clearly more rigging to the games, and now he has to mentor him watching his last moments, and if that's not heartbreaking enough, the kid is just talking to, what's her name, the girl I like, Maisley, and it's like him saying, "I wish you were my sister," because she's braiding him. He's trying to smuggle like a wire into the game, and she braided it for him to be his token. And she's always been a little cruel and hurtful, very sharp tongue, and it broke my heart because she's just like, "I'll be your sister," and gives him a hug, and it's like they're all gonna die, and I'm already attached to all of these characters, and I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm already half crying. If this is how I am when I'm barely even invested in a series, God, this what's her name? I know her name. Suzanne Collins. I don't care. She's good at getting me invested in characters quickly. Alright, so Hamish just got dragged into somebody's house. They went to the library, discussed poetry, seen a fountains, all good. He's there because the spectacle he made with Snow, and he has to answer for his crimes, essentially. So Snow shows up, and I'm just waiting for the intimidation, the something. He is deathly pale, sweating, and Snow is, and then Snow immediately throws up into a fountain. And I'm just like, you old man, you couldn't have just died a couple decades earlier. Ridiculous. Alright, so despite coughing up whatever and possibly dying. He claims it's oysters and just food poisoning. I'm hoping he's dying of stomach cancer. But, yeah, Snow is threatening Hamish and saying, if you don't smarten up, stop insulting me, no more on unauthorized chariot rides, you're going to die a painful death in the games, and that is how your beloved Dove and mother and brother will remember you. So Hamish is like, okay, I gotta obey. And now treat this birthday gift with respect and kindness, as Lucilia McCoy, the girl who was his friend and died in that chariot event, just walks out. But then takes a closer look, it's not actually her. I'm assuming he snatched up someone who looked like her and used the Capitol's medical stuff, the ones like they tried to give Katniss breast implants when she was unconscious once, like just morphed this girl who was somewhat similar into a lookalike to say, hey, she survived the games. Look how great the Capitol's medical knowledge and stuff is. Yeah, this is going to end so well. Alright, been a few days. The room has been painted since I last filmed. So President Snow does not have stomach cancer. He poisoned, I think, the one in charge of the chariot show that got messed up, but to kind of dispel the idea that he's the one that poisoned them, he also took the poison, because that's kind of his thing, and then he survives the poison, but he goes through pain first, and yeah, Hamish drinks the milk that would have settled his stomach, and love that for him. It's also not Luella that's there, it's this other girl that they tortured into thinking or pretending to be her, and they're just going to call her Lulu now, and she's got stuff in her ear that the Capitol's probably listening to her, something on her stomach or heart or something, keeping her alive. Not good. I do really like that, like, the students who are helping them get ready for the games, dressing them up and preparing them, cutting their nails and hair and all that, styling them, are more worried about their grade in class than the fact that people are going to die soon. So that's a good element for the Capitol. What else has happened? They have their speeches or interviews, and Lulu started screaming. She's playing with the snake, which is really cool. But she starts screaming, you're murdering us, directly to the Capitol, and they just rush her off stage. Even when, Drusilla comes in to help with getting them ready and bringing them to the interview, she's like, what's wrong with Lulu here? And they're like, yeah, that's not Luella. She died. They replaced her, and it's like all this terrible stuff. And she's just like, yeah, not my problem, not my department. So hate that. Love that element. Hate her for that. But we do get Effie because the other stylist is licking toads and is passed out somewhere. You're not supposed to be licking toads. Apparently it happened after the war. Or during the war. And Effie is getting them all ready. It's almost a little bit too heavy of like a cameo for my preference. I'm not sure if I like both her and Mags and all these other ones. The one with that helps in the future, getting through the barriers, starts with a B. I think it's probably good, but it feels a little heavy-handed force for callbacks to the main series for my preference, but it's Effie, and I like her, so sure. So right now the plan is District, I think 9's tokens have been replaced with the blasting caps, and they're going to go in there and blow up a water tank. Because Haymitch, I do like this. So I had thought that from the original series, the Capitol was mad at Haymitch for cheating during the games. I think that's how it was played. Like, use the barrier to bounce off to kill his opponent. It's like, oh, that was a cheap shot, so we're going to punish you for it. And that never really made sense to me. But that being said, I only read the first book. I could be remembering it wrong. It was a long time ago. But actually, he had been causing a commotion in the Capitol, took over the chariot race, one of his people had been killed, disrespected President Snow multiple times, tried to be like a rascal in the interviews, calling out one of the district people, or police, peacekeepers, there you go, for drinking illegal alcohol and all these little things, and now he's actually planning to destroy the arena, so that's why the Capitol was after him in the main books, not cheating or whatever it was, bouncing a weapon back on a barrier. So I do like that a lot. And I would imagine, fail at this, or believe he failed and cost everyone that he loves their lives, throwing him into that depression where we see him in the new books, or the original series. I really like that element. For some reason, the idea that they reuse trackers every year, like take it out of the dead kids and put it into the new contestants, is one of the most disturbing things I've heard about the series so far. I don't know why that's what's getting to me. Okay, so the fact that Lulu cannot have a happy ending is very upsetting to me, because how dare you? This girl's been ripped out of her home district, tortured, pretending to be someone else, and now she's thrown into the Hunger Games. Are you kidding me? But then, it gets so much worse, because Haymitch had no choice of his own. He has to go blow up the thing. So he runs off, leaving the newcomers to fend for themselves, and he hates that about himself, feeling like a coward for abandoning them. And Lulu finds him. She's covered in blood, and we find out that whatever you say his name, the gambling odds person, protected her and died protecting her in the bloodbath. He dies on day 1. I love this kid. I got so emotionally invested in these characters from the beginning, knowing they're going to die, and I just love tragedies. I just love tragedies, and I need to read more tragedies. And then the trauma continues, because Haymitch tries to protect Lulu, keeping her away from the poison. The entire field, arena, poison everywhere. And there's little bunnies. And Haymitch's doves from District, 6? Most of them are dead. And it makes me sad. But I love how they just remind him of Lenore, and I love that for him. But Lulu, she recognizes some flowers, probably from her home district as well, dives into, they're not supposed to be poisonous, but these ones of course are, and she dies brutally as Haymitch takes out her port thing. Her skin turns blue. Enough, I beg the game makers. They could end this with the touch of a button, knock her out as they did in the interviews, this time sending a lethal dose of sedative through her pump. Spare her the torturous death, but the agony continues, filling me with fury. Enough, I scream. She's not your plaything. My fingers find the pump hidden under her shirt and lock around it. With one powerful yank, I free her. Oh my god almighty, I hate the game makers so much right now. But the trauma continues again, because he succeeds in blowing up the water tank with, I keep calling him Armpit, Ampert, something like that, the kids help, and he's a sweet, sweet, sweet boy that gets eaten to death by rabbit squirrels. Of all things, Haymitch tries to save him, hack them off, get them away from him, but they're like genetically programmed, sent it to target the kid, and I'm sure his father is forced to watch this at some point in time, if not live. Who knows? They eat him down to the skeletons, this poor kid, and it's upsetting. But somehow, that is still not the most trauma this book has inflicted upon me so far, because eventually he goes back with, I'm bad with names, Maisley? Yeah, Maisley. Honestly, when I read books, half the time, the first letter is all I know of the characters. There are floating letters sometimes. So she finds him, and they're together. And, I gotta read the quote, because it's beautiful. Okay, they've had a meal. She was starving. He offered food. She offered what he had. What do you say to the meanest girl in town who becomes your friend? No, more than a friend, really. A newcomer. Being tributes and not killing each other. Looking out for each other with no questions asked. That's family, I guess. You need to sleep while you can, Hamish. I know, but what I'm thinking, you and me, you remember what Ampert said when you made his token? There was a long pause before she said, sure, I'll be your sister. Hands outreached at this, I love that line. I love that. I'll be your sister when she said that to him. Our hands reach out at the same time, clasp, and then release. Night, sis. I roll over and let sleep take me. I don't know why. The found family, in this chaotic situation, in this war-torn dystopian nightmare, these games, they found family and love for each other and comfort when they're dying. And I love that for them. I also like the element of both fire and water, as I think I knew this from the original book. They said they flooded the arena at the same time as like lava from a volcano erupted and the duality of the fire and water. But to know that Hamish is the one who caused the water to flood it all, and then the volcano and the two film fire and water together, and it was his doing to mess up the arena, I love learning that. But then they go to a maze where a bunny had saved him, led him to the exit. Love that for him. I love Hamish's connections with the bunnies here. And their dove coloring. He was in the maze, the bunny let him out, and now he wants to go back to the maze to see what's at the end of the maze, and they get attacked by ladybugs. So I will check in after the ladybugs attack. Alright, so I'm back. They torched the ladybugs, which, great idea, except they also killed 2 game makers who were randomly in the arena, and one of the other careers was also decided to kill them. And actually, I think she was in 4. I don't know if that was technically a career. Doesn't matter. It was on the side of the careers. So Maisley and the Trident Girl, I think it was, both killed a game maker. And then as punishment, after they got through the maze, found the force field, seen the generator that's just out of reach, birds come and rip Maisley apart. This sweet girl. And Hamish does not take it well. And again, I love when he's calling her his sister. So one of my favorite lines here. Goodbye, Maisley Donner, who I loathed, then grudgingly respected, then loved. Not as a sweetheart or even a friend, a sister, I said. But what is that exactly? I think about our journey. Everything from snipping with her in those early days after the reaping to battling those pink birds. I guess that's my answer. A sister is someone you fight with and fight for tooth and nail. And I love that. It's beautiful. He is heartbroken. He takes her necklace, but eventually realizes that necklace was a second backup plan. Like they replaced multiple of the tokens, and he can use it for another explosion. There's another blasting cap and material. He has extra material as well. So he uses it to throw down the barrier after he's already won to cause an explosion and shake the arena. However, of course, none of that is shown in the wrap-up of the games. The fact that they fought a giant porcupine and led it away using, was it sardines or something like that? No, sardines are hard to throw. What did they throw? She ate the sardines when she was mad at Hamish for not helping her kill the game maker. What they throw to get rid of the porcupine? Was it apples? I read that work. This is going to bug me. Okay, just wrote baby sounds. They're trying. They could have just left, walked away. The porcupine thing was not attacking them. It was attacking other newcomers, and they chose to go into danger to try to save them. Didn't work, but they tried. So they fought it with an axe. It didn't do enough damage. Olives. They throw the olives to lead it away, jar and all, and still the newcomers all die. But they tried to save them, and I love that for them. But the game makers cut that part out, their heroic battle, their sacrifice, everything that they have done to protect each other, to show them in a light that the Capitol chose. It's that propaganda again. So Hamish, the winner, is up on like a pedestal with a crown on his head, and everyone's cheering for him. And he's realizing how altered the game footage is, how out of order, chronological timelines. It's all to show the Capitol's narrative, but they also clearly cut the best part. So Hamish alone, Maisley has just died, goes find the last of the newcomers. He wants to die and have them be the winner, to go on with, to not let one of the career district people be the one in charge. And he finds her, makes a potato light, and it's beautiful. It offers her comfort. She's half starved to death. It starts with a W. So he's feeding her pudding, and then all of a sudden, the last of the careers, Silka, is at the base of the tree that they're hiding in, and she just starts crying. And, like, even this hardened, I keep forgetting if they're one of the, they gotta be a career, is, even this hardened career district contestant is having a breakdown of what she had to do to survive in these games. I became intensely aware of the three of us, huddled under this tree, the last trio of human heartbeats in the arena. Sad, desperate, but also a rare moment of district unity in the games. You know what would make this even better? I dropped a handful of chocolate balls into the night. A startled sound. The sobs softened to a sniffle. A candy wrapper crackles. Quiet. Not a bad poster, all in all. He gives her chocolates. And it's this moment of unity in the game, and it's beautiful, the hardship they're going through, and I love it. And God knows Capital didn't show that in their wrap-up. So he fights the last of the careers, wins, axe, bounces back, gets her in the head. His guts are ripped open, scar across his stomach already. And then the Capital people are telling him, don't throw that bomb you just made. Stop it, stop it, stop it. He throws it, place shakes, but it's not enough to bring everything down, sadly. But maybe one day it will be. He is paraded across the districts as the victor, and he has to play the role because he is terrified that Snow is going to destroy his family for him not playing the game, his game, or revolting against the Hunger Games. Side note, that Silka girl, she had decapitated Wesley, the other surviving newcomer, and, like, yeah, that was a traumatizing image for Hamish that he'll never forget. But then he eventually gets home, and he comes home to his house on fire. He tried his best to please the Capital and Snow in those last minutes, sacrificed his dignity, acted like a lapdog for all the people to just parade around and feed like a pet, and it wasn't enough. His mother and younger brother were huddled together in the house, burnt together, and therefore had to be buried together, and he could not stop it. Flames, his house is up in flames. He didn't even get a reunion with them, and it's heartbreaking, absolutely heartbreaking. But he goes and finds his girlfriend, and they're together, and it's beautiful, and he wants to run away with her. At first he's like, I'll run away, I just want to say goodbye. He's like, no, I gotta take you with me, we can't survive without each other. And she takes it, gumdrops, he feeds her one, doesn't realize they're all red, and it's poison, and she dies in his arms, and it's horrible. And, like, her own family takes her away from him, and he has to beg to find her grave, and it is, I love it. It's traumatizing. I love this. I love tragedies. I need more tragedies. But overall, phenomenal book. 5 stars, easy. But I think my favorite part is the epilogue, because then it cuts to the end of the main series, Katniss and Peeta and all that, and he tells them his story and how his girlfriend Lenora, she loved geese. Like, she had lots of little hatchlings, and they were all imprinted on her. And I love it. It's so cute. And what does Katniss do? She gives him a bunch of geese eggs to hatch to bring him joy and happiness. And, oh, so good. But I also, more trauma. Before that, he was having, like, nightmares of feeding Lenora and just her dying over and over again. But eventually, like, she's growing old in his dreams as he moves on and heals from the trauma that the Capital's inflicted on him, and he's just waiting to join her in the afterlife. And there was more about him pushing his friends away to be alone, so there was no one else for the Capital to target to hurt him. And then Katniss and Peeta show up, and he has to protect them, and yada yada. It's so good! This was beautiful. I could have probably done a little bit more with the effects of propaganda in it, but what was there wasn't too heavy-handed. It was done very well. It's just that's the reason I picked this up, and I could have done with a little bit more propaganda work, but overall I think it was done perfectly. All right, that's all I got. Talk to you later.